Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to this members-only stream. I do these like once or twice a month, so this is the one for the beginning of, what are we in, April? The beginning of April, middle of April. Yeah. There's no intro yet. I guess I should probably do an intro for this series. I don't really have one. I'm joined today by Lance and Canada Graphs. So if you're not a Team Eric member, you see the thing scrolling at the bottom. There's a join button. You can still watch. Everyone can watch. But if you want to chat and participate in the conversation, you have to become a Team Eric member. It's one of the perks for being a Team Eric member. Thank all you guys for being part of that. And so we have a few things to actually talk about today. There's a big story that literally broke like as I was setting up for my stream. I just can't believe it. Hey, Krista. Yes, Christy, welcome to Team Eric. I appreciate your support. Well, the title of the stream changed because that was not, the news came out after I set the stream up. This Ezra drama is kind of juicy. It's kind of juicy. This is more than just speculation. This is more than him, being irate, them being irate. I'm not gonna get that right. This is more than Ezra being irate at a bar or restaurant. There's more information coming in about what happened, and it's quite a lot. So we're going to talk about that. We've got some stuff about Gotham Knights that I want to briefly talk about. We're going to talk about the Thor trailer. I'm sure, have you seen that yet, Canada Graphs? The Thor Love and Thunder trailer?
Yeah.
We'll talk about it. Hold on. Like, if you're disappointed, just wait until we get there. So, but this isn't going to be a super long stream. We're going to move swiftly through the topics, and get through everything. But again, thanks to all the Team Eric members that help make my channel possible. And let's get into some of these topics here. So the first one I want to talk about, and we may get more information on this as we're doing this, right? So it's going to be quite a story here. This is the most updated article I saw, which is from the Hollywood Reporter. And this is about, of course, Ezra Miller.
These pictures.
They always pick the wrong, like, I feel like they just go out of their way to pick the...
Yeah, I think at this point, they're purposely trying to, like, mock him when they pick photos.
Okay, so Ezra Miller arrested again in Hawaii. Police say the Flash star was taken into custody Tuesday morning for alleged assault, which is funny. They keep saying that Ezra is the Flash star, but Ezra's like in a movie that's out right now, the Harry Potter or the Fantastic Beasts film. So they keep saying the Flash star. It's like they just purposely they are really trying to ruin that movie. Like they want to make it so WB just does not release that film. Okay, so there wasn't a lot of news when I first saw the story. It said that Paigey, Ezra looks a bit like Eric in that photo, really. But there wasn't a lot about it, but there's more that came out here. So this is the most updated information that I could find. So here we go. Ezra Miller was arrested Tuesday morning on suspicion of second-degree assault. Okay, it was suspicion. The story goes on further here. Around 1:30 a.m., Miller was taken into custody after an incident at a residence in Pahawa. The alleged assault occurred at a get-together at a private where's that? Private residence. Okay. Miller, according to police, became irate after being asked to leave and reportedly threw a chair, striking a 26-year-old female on the forehead, resulting in an approximate half-inch cut. Miller was arrested shortly thereafter, being located during a traffic stop, which means he had left the residence. Like, Ezra was gone. Police said the actor was released pending further investigation. And that's pretty much what we have right now in terms of the story. This is getting worse. Like, this is now gone from, he goes out to a bar, he has an altercation with someone, he gets mad at someone for singing karaoke, he's just belligerently drunk at a bar, to being at which, by the way, who invited him after all this stuff? Like, I would not want Ezra in my house after everything that has happened recently.
So the only thing I'll say on that is we don't know when that altercation happened. That could have been before all this news started coming out. Just because he got arrested today.
Yeah, you're
could have
right.
been a month and a half ago.
That's true, because Ezra's been there since early March, right? So they've been on the island for a while. So either way, though, Ezra, this is spiraling out of control. I'm pretty sure there's going to be more stories as this goes on and on. I told you that it's like I mentioned this, Lance, on the after party. I was like, we're gonna have new Ezra.
You definitely did. You definitely did.
It's not disappointing at all here. What are your general thoughts on this, you guys? Where are you at with this right now? I mean, this is becoming a big problem for WB.
I'm honestly not shocked. Like you said, I expected this. Like I was honestly just since Monday, I'm like, I wonder if we're gonna hear something else about Ezra. They need to do something, and they need to do it quick because this is just going to keep escalating. Mm-hmm. He hurt somebody this time. It may have been a bump to the head. It's a bodily injury. Next time it could be worse. Like I'd hate to say that, but I mean he's escalating.
Yeah. This is look at this. Ezra needs an intervention. Do you agree, Canada Graphs? Do you think something needs to be
I think we're way past that point. I think that was clearly something that needed to happen before we got to this point. Like I think even an intervention now, you're kind of at that point where the intervention is basically just like you need to take a long break from Hollywood. Like you're probably going into like, if you don't end up in jail, which I mean, if the person's just got a scratch on their head or something, probably more like community service, right?
Right.
But the look for you, who was an entertainer in the public eye, this is more of a, we don't want you being anywhere in public for at least a year and a half. Yep. Like, next time you hear Ezra Miller's name will be the 2 months leading up to promotion for the movie if they release it at this point.
Quindle makes a good point. A normal person would be a prison. And Thomas here saying famous people getting away with literal crimes by hiding in rehab.
That's not entirely true. I think a normal person would be arrested, but I don't think they would be necessarily in prison for that. That would vary wildly on. When I was a kid, I threw a chair at a chalkboard in school. I didn't get arrested for anything.
Wait, did anybody else see that?
Yeah.
No.
You blipped out for like a split second and then came back.
Really?
It was weird. Yeah.
Did Thanos just came to get you?
Warner Brothers swooped in.
Maybe. But no, as I was saying, I mean, when I was in high school, I threw a chair at a chalkboard and nothing happened to me. I didn't even get suspended. Like,
I think the problem here is that when Ezra finally ends up going in front of like a judge for some of this stuff, they're going to bring up all of these other things that happen, and that's when it's going to get really bad for Ezra. Multi-topic, this is it. If it was an isolated incident, it would be fine, but it all stacks up, and I agree with that. I just oh wow, CG got blipped by Natalie Portman. I'm not sure what that's a reference to, but so here's the deal though, like, and I'm sure we're going to see more and more about this. I bet you anything over the next few hours where even more will come out about this incident. And so Jordan says he's supposed to appear in court today. So
we're just waiting on Rolling Stone.
It's a little late in the day for that. Yeah. Oh, actually, I forgot. Hawaii's a few hours behind me.
Yeah, it's like middle of the day. And, well, actually, it's like 11 or 12, right? Watch this. Alexa, what time is it in Hawaii?
In Hawaii, it's 12:11 p.m.
Okay, so it's midday. It's 12:11.
Was that a flex?
That's a flex. It's right here on my desk. It's one with a screen on it too, so I can see my front door and everything.
Yeah, I'm not that versed in Alexa. I have the regular one that just a
little yeah. Yeah, I leveled up. So let's see. Quindle says, I feel like they made the shirt include Natalie in the trailer, and yes, she has a part in Thor 4, but it's so much more. We're gonna get Quindle. I've got a whole page in the Canada Graphs. Apparently, I've heard that you're not happy about it, so we'll have a chance to talk about the trailer. So anyway, moving on from the Ezra stuff, I think that it's pretty obvious they're going through something, and it's becoming an issue where other people are being affected. And I think Warner Brothers at this point has to step in and at least try to rectify the situation.
I think now
they just paid them off.
What?
You talking the couple?
Talking the first
couple?
time?
Yeah, the first
Yeah.
time they stepped in. They made
Do
that
you
other
think-
article.
Oh, wait. Here we go. What if the person at this residence who got cut is like, I'm not pressing charges. I've decided not to press charges, and no reason given.
The police themselves can still move forward if they think there's
Oh yeah, absolutely.
grievances.
But would it be beyond Warner Brothers to pay off another? Do you think they're going to continue to pay people off?
Of course, Warner Brothers would do that if they think they can. If that is the most financially sensible road for them, they would 100% do that if they can get away with it. But that doesn't mean the police may not stop their investigation. They might still go forward and just carry on and still charge him. But they will now have to try and get those witnesses to.
Robert, it's not the same people. This is someone else. Because the same people that when they dropped the charges against Ezra, it was with prejudice, meaning that they cannot refile those charges again against Ezra. So this is a different situation altogether. Plus, this was a party, and I think that the other place he was actually staying with those people. It wasn't just a party. I think he was actually like he was renting a room from them or something, or he knew them.
Why is he still in Hawaii? Is my question.
Right? How?
How haven't they kicked him out yet?
I mean, I don't know. I think he's an American.
Why would you want to stay there?
He's an American citizen, so I guess he's allowed to be in Hawaii, I guess. But if he was like Joe average person, they'd be like, you're on the next flight back to insert city you live in.
Exactly.
Cody brought this up as well. Fantastic Beasts did not do well this weekend.
That's probably why he's acting
box off. And we went and saw it yesterday. In the middle of the day, we didn't get to see it on opening because we had a bunch of stuff happening over the weekend. But it wasn't that good. It wasn't an awful movie, but it wasn't great either. And can you imagine if Johnny Depp was in the film along with Ezra? What kind of...
They'd both be in Hawaii just going nuts.
But yeah, I wasn't too impressed with it. So I've seen worse movies. It's one of those movies, like, for me, where there's nothing obviously wrong with it. Like, there's no major issues, but it's just not good. So it's just a kind of a paint by numbers Fantastic Beasts Harry Potter film. So I'm saying don't waste your money. If you are one of those people that you were on the fence about going, I would say it's not worth it to pay the price at the theater. Especially
how we felt about Morbius.
Yes. Yeah. Like this is me giving, like, I never want people to like follow my lead because of what I say, but if you're on the fence about it, I'm saying my opinion is I wouldn't waste my money. But if you love Harry Potter and you love these movies, by all means, go and see it. I think that's, it's definitely fine. Wow. Canada Graphs L. There we go. So actually, I wanted to talk about it this weekend. Some of the pictures you got on set of The Flash. We'll save it for the after party though, because I think Paige's video came out yesterday, but we'll talk about it on the after party. Because I have some
video has me got my brain going. Because
really? All right.
I think he is spot on about his about the last theory. So he got my brain going.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I haven't seen Paige's video yet, but
just go ahead and file a DMCA on him. So here goes Gwendolyn. So Gwendolyn, I haven't seen Morbius. So my only point of reference has been like the reviews online and actually Lance, who went and saw it himself. And, I trust his opinion on it.
I'm not getting the DVD. I'm not buying it on digital. It can stay where it's at. It was a waste of money.
So the next thing I want to talk about, I'm not going to pull up the video here because I've heard that it's getting struck down. But there was a behind the scenes video. Where is Gotham Knights being filmed at? What part of the
Toronto?
World? It's in Toronto. Okay.
Yeah.
Crossover with Titans.
I mean, in theory, I guess they could. Yeah, but, I think you're talking about the scene in the graveyard coming up.
Yes, yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Funny enough, that scene is in a graveyard, like a 6-block walk from where I stay when I go for the film festival.
Oh,
But
really?
if this had been during the summer, I would have probably been there.
Yeah. So there's a scene for Gotham Knights, and this isn't really a spoiler because we don't really know context, and it's no surprise really that Bruce Wayne is going to be somewhere involved with the show. But now it looks like he's going to be even more involved than before because it looks like speculation is that they're going to be doing something like they did with Arrow, where he's going to be in flashback scenes, and we're going to see him throughout the season, mentoring some of the characters. How do we feel about another Bruce Wayne now? I mean, this is like what, the 8th one we've had in live action in the last 5 years. I mean,
is he gonna be old?
I don't think they said who was playing it. I think we just know that it was. Did they say who it was?
I haven't heard a casting.
I didn't
about
see.
it.
No, but they said it was confirmed to be Bruce Wayne. So,
well, if he's got no speaking lines, then it could just be the warm body of the day, right? Like if he's just there and they're shooting
like the
over
Joker on
or
Batwoman,
something.
Like the Joker
Yeah,
on
like
Batwoman.
Anything where they don't have to have him speaking, it could just be whoever's there to fill the role. Like the first view we saw Batwoman or Batman on Batwoman in the pilot, just a stand-in.
Yeah,
that wasn't Warren Christie. They hadn't thought of Warren Christie yet.
Yeah. What do we think about this from Gary? 199 super chat.
100% it's getting delayed. I've heard 2026. They're recasting it too. Apparently they're going to have Ezra Miller play him. And Grant is going to move on to playing the animated series, and then they are going to have whoever does the animated voice for Barry and move to the Flash movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, there we go.
Pagey has some information.
I don't even know who this is. Holden
is playing by... Okay.
Wait. Oh my goodness. Pagey, I hate you. I hate you so much.
I said it in a way so I made sure I broke it up. I broke it up. Holden space 2 dicks.
The fact that I grabbed my phone to look that up.
Once I said it and broke it up, I'm waiting. Yeah, that's obviously.
I honestly heard that Pagey was playing Bruce Wayne in Gotham Knights.
No, he's a stand-in for Natalie Portman in Thor, so he's already got a job.
It's actually a reverse flex for Pagey because he had to come home early. Apparently, there was bad weather where he was at, so it's a reverse flex. He's on his way home now, I think. So there we go. Breaking news on Pagey's whereabouts. Gary here with 199 super chat. Are you mad at me? Do you remember me? It's been a while. Of course I remember you, Gary, and I'm not mad at you.
Gary.
Canada Graphs
never
might
mad.
Be mad with you. It's
never mad.
So there we go.
You
the only person who ever
laughter.
says, yeah, exactly. So, new member Sage Yellow, welcome to Team Eric. I appreciate it. Make sure you jump in, jump in the chat and check out the emojis and all the fun stuff you can do there. It's so impressively hard to cast. Do you think it's true that it's hard to cast Bruce Wayne for a show?
No, I think Warren Christie made a good Bruce Wayne. Ian Glenn, I mean, if it wasn't for the forced trying not to use his accent, he was a good old no, I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't like I can't even lie.
The Titans, Bruce Wayne. That's my least favorite Bruce Wayne ever.
Yeah, because it's like, are we supposed to, when Dick was having the nightmare or whatever, when in season 1, were we supposed to honestly believe that Ian Glenn was in that?
Right. That's my problem with it. It's not that I think Ian's a bad actor. I don't think that at all. But Bruce Wayne, sometimes you strike gold with weird castings. Like Michael Keaton's not really someone where you go that's the perfect Bruce Wayne, but he worked out. I think in Titan's situation, they rolled the dice and it didn't work. But the amount of mental gymnastics the Titans stands go through to make us believe that is a peak Bruce Wayne is it's not. It's just not. It's really weird to me. I didn't like that Bruce Wayne at all. Sage says Jensen Ackles is really played, but I thought that rumor's been around for a while.
It's been around since Crisis, hasn't it?
Not happening.
Hasn't that been around since Crisis?
Yeah, I think so. Amethyst, I don't like the Titans Bruce Wayne at all, but then I don't care for Titans much. So there you go. Thomas here. Ian Glenn is a great actor, but I don't like his accent. I don't like the way Bruce seems to hear. Yeah, his Bruce Wayne is probably my least. Like, I've had a lot of iffy Bruce Waynes over the years. This one I think is to me is the worst. Gary here. Why is Pagey mad at me? What did I do to him? I don't know. You have to go to one of his lives, Gary, and find out. Or you could jump on the after party this weekend. You can ask him then. Introverted goes, it's too much of the Bat family. There's so many other superheroes. I agree. I totally agree.
We had a whole conversation on this a few after parties ago.
Yeah. Think about the list of characters. You know, the one thing I have to say about Young Justice is that even though it's animated, they take advantage of like so many characters and so many different worlds within DC. Something that the TV and the live action side just doesn't seem to understand. By the way, speaking of that, I don't have it in my notes now, and it's not really a big subject, but did you hear they're getting ready to do like an Aqualad live action series?
Yeah,
for HBO Max.
I did not.
Charlize Theron is like directing or something.
Yeah. What do you think
about
that?
I've always wanted to see an adaptation of Jackson Hyde because, well, he is the comic book Aqualad.
And now he's Aquaman, I believe, in the comics, right? Isn't he now been bumped up to Aquaman?
He might. I haven't really kept up with like.
I haven't read the new runs, but I think that it was mentioned that he was going to be taking over the role of Aquaman.
In like the Calderon type of, because isn't he just a multiversal variant of Calder, or is Calder a multiversal variant of him? I'm confused. They look alike.
Yeah.
They look alike. They act alike.
Yeah. Gary with one eye. I thought Pagey left the after party. He took a break because of some other commitments that he had, but now he's back. So yeah. MC Brooks, he's Aquaman in the newest Justice League. Yep, there we
go. The future Justice League Future State, or like the current league.
Yeah, you have to confirm that because I'm not totally sure. I will say though, I am happy about it, but I'm a little bit concerned, and let me just tell you why. The most expensive thing that you can do on television is underwater filming. So either they've got a really good way of doing it with like practical sets, like because with Aquaman the movie, when they're underwater, everything is VFX and they're able to talk, but they're on harnesses and they're floating around. There's no way a show, even at HBO Max's level, could sustain that. So I'm wondering if they'll go into like buildings under the water and they'll talk in like a open space where you can see like the ocean outside of the windows or something like that.
Well, let the HBO Max stands tell that they can do no wrong. So I mean,
know, if it's the actor who played Aqualad in Titans season 2, I would not mind.
Won't be him because Jackson is black.
Yep.
That's pretty impossible.
I hope they bring back Henry back and use Flashpoint to correct or change his character. People will like this adaptation better. The funny thing was somebody posted on Twitter that Henry has been the most unproblematic member of the Justice League from the movies, and they don't even want to use him in anything. I mean, there's no lie there. That is kind of true. I guess you could say that Jason, well, I don't know. He supported Ray a little bit, and that was a little bit controversial. Gal's had some controversies. Ezra, obviously.
All Jason wants to do is film this Minecraft movie. He ain't thinking about none of that other stuff.
Or his Frosty the Snowman movie, whenever that comes out. So, Gary, it's 1 night super chat. Glad he's back. You think Flash will have a season 10? We can talk about that for a second before we move on to the next topic. I'm not thinking so far ahead because we're not even sure if season 9 is going to be abbreviated or not. There's talk about whether that's going to happen. But if we get a sign on from all of the actors, if everybody else comes back with the exception of the ones that we know are not going to be full-time, like Jesse and things like that, it is possible they can move on with another season, but it's a year-by-year thing because they're no longer doing multi-year contracts, which Cantergraph, she said that's smart for them because they can renegotiate every year for more money. If they
they get a guaranteed increase every time there's a new contract.
Yeah. And by time season 10 comes around, we may have a CW acquisition. That may happen by then. We don't know yet because aren't they still on the market? Nobody's purchased them yet. So, I mean, what's going to happen? The CW may go, if they don't sell, they may dissolve the
Who
network.
knows? I mean, why haven't you bought them yet?
I don't know. I'm just shy a little bit on the money. So, yeah.
Get that
So
OnlyFans up, you'll have it.
Speaking of that, funny enough. No. This is funny. A friend of mine, she started an OnlyFans for her feet, and she made over $10,000 last month.
Daddy, my still eat some snacks.
$10,000.
I am sad for society.
Wow.
That's like the one thing I've never understood. I've never understood that, but
Yeah.
apparently it's a thing.
Jordan here. Did you read the article about Batwoman? So I read the article, but there's no solid information there. We said this I think it was either last week or the week before. Unless they come out before the upfronts and confirm they are not moving forward with these shows, there's nothing speculatory that I really have to add to the conversation until we hear from them, because right now we don't know anything. Right. And I believe we've talked about this briefly as well. They may come down to a choice of what they want or what they don't want on the network, but it also comes down to space. Like they have set days of the weeks where they have 2 hours of TV programming between 8 and 10. And they're going to have to determine to them what is worth making a priority in those time slots, because they do shows Sunday through Friday. Saturday's the only night where they really don't do brand new programming. So that's 2 shows a night over 6 days.
Yeah.
That's their block of time they have for a season. I haven't gone through and done it. I thought about doing it, but I haven't. To go through and count what they've renewed and how many hours are left that they have free for their fall season.
Here's the one thing I'll say on this. I think someone may have brought it up in my live chat a couple of weeks ago, and that is if they do a 13-episode Gotham Knights, they could run Gotham Knights through the fall to the winter break, and then Batwoman takes over the Gotham Knights spot, and they just have like a Bat-themed spot throughout that run. 2 half-season shows. Because it's rare that they will give a rookie show a full season. They don't very often give them 20-plus episodes. So something's going to have to carry the back half of that season. So they might just do a Gotham Knights first half, Batwoman second half. Now, where that leaves Legends, that's still in who knows what you do with that show position. But I think it's not impossible both shows get picked up.
Right.
I'm still of the mindset I think they probably will, but my mindset has dropped substantially over the last couple of weeks with all the different pieces of news that come out, you know. The one other thing is right now, this wouldn't affect filming wise, but if anybody hears down the line for some reason, Javicia Leslie's in Vancouver right now filming a movie. So if you hear someone, they're like, oh, Javicia's in Vancouver, could she be on The Flash or Superman and Lois? You can just tell them right now, no.
I'm happy she's filming a movie. I think Javicia is really good, so I'm happy to hear she's got work. I mean,
go ahead. Can I chime in on this? I've seen the several articles that keep popping up. The latest one was a Screen Rant article by the guy who does the Flash podcast. And all of this is stemming from Deadline and TV Line doing their bubble watch, whatever they want to call it. And it honestly seems like every single article is just targeting the CW. It's plenty of other networks. CW may only have 7 scripted shows. ABC literally only has 5. NBC has shows that they renewed back during the pandemic for 3+ seasons already, but they still only gave early renewals out to about 2 or 3 shows. Every network is doing the exact same thing. If everybody would just wait, stop being thirsty.
That's what I said though. We talked about this. Like,
just wait. Like all we got to do is wait. You're stressing yourself out, freaking yourself out, and it could turn out to be nothing at all. This is just pre-pandemic type stuff. Like that's all it is.
Yeah, I've tried saying this a few times. We have a short memory span in society. We have like goldfish memories. We don't remember that 3 or 4 years ago, this was the standard.
Mm-hmm.
The standard was they renew a couple of shows early, and you wait until the upfronts for everything else.
I actually think they got so spoiled by all of the early.
Yes, we have
early renewals that everyone thinks that if you don't get an early renewal, you're canceled, and it's weird. Now, Thomas brings up a good point. Would this make Batwoman Legends the first Arrowverse shows to be canceled if that happened?
It would. Yes.
It would. Yes, they would. Whichever one it happens to first, because all those clickbait articles that said Black Lightning was canceled and Supergirl was canceled, they were not. They actually ended properly. They had a full-on ending for the series. So
do you honestly think they'll do that on the 10-year anniversary after dropping all of these comics?
New owners. Who knows what their mindset is?
But like, I'm hoping not, because it's like just wow if you do, because you're gonna lose a huge part of your fan base.
Yeah,
I think it would be very risky for them to get rid of something like, okay, so between Batwoman and Legends obviously has been consistent in their viewership. Batwoman has fluctuated. I think if we're talking about if those two were on the line, the one that I would bet on would be Legends, because then you would definitely get your return. One thing that they love is they love like consistency. They either want you to do as good as you have or better. That's their mindset.
The other bonus for Legends is it is a cheaper show to make.
Yeah.
Like their whole like out in the forest filming outside the city stuff.
And no powers. People
cheaper.
Don't have powers anymore. So Gary here with 199 Super Chat. Will Superman and Lois have a season 4? I mean, I'd be surprised if they didn't.
It's going to be turned into Lois and Clark. Superman will not be flying around anymore.
Why doesn't Superman and Lois do what Stargirl doesn't film all of it before air? Because they were rushing it. That's why they rushed it this year.
And Stargirl's always been like that. They just air during the summer. That's why
they have the benefit of being a summer, right? They have the benefit of being a summer show because they film the same time as everybody else, but then they're completely done by time their season starts.
Yes, it's no where would they fit it in that you have to boot something.
The best thing they ever did last year was do the summer school theme, because it gave them a full season without a lot of breaks, and that's really good.
Oh, another thing people keep forgetting about Legends. Legends was always a bubble show in mid-season. It's been mid-season for a while, so I'm like, y'all, you're getting spoiled by early renewals. Like, don't let the pandemic TV is basically over with.
Yes,
we just got to get used to it. Stop letting these speculation articles freak y'all out.
So we had Citizen Tim Scott with a Team Eric member chat. He goes, the CW recently started doing programming on Saturdays. I saw that, but I thought it was basically just like the
game shows and stuff.
Yeah, I thought it was game shows. I might be wrong, but that's what I thought.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing like. Yeah, I don't think their Saturday programming is like scripted television type stuff. Like,
yeah, I mean, they could change that if the new owners decide they want to do that. But they typically like Friday used to be the death slot. If a scripted show went to a Friday night, that was it for it. But that's not really the case anymore. Paige, I think he upgraded. Did he upgrade? I don't know. Maybe.
I just got a bad thought in my head. Okay, so push comes to shove. So we know Superman and Lois is renewed.
Mm-hmm.
What if Superman and Lois becomes a fall premiere show? They pick up Gotham Knights. So on Tuesdays, it would be Superman and Lois, Gotham Knights. Flash is still going to stay on Wednesdays, killing their live ratings. And maybe they pair Flash or something with Legends or Legends. I
was going to say Legends. Yeah. They may try to put Legends after Flash to bump up Legends a little bit.
Yeah, but who's going to bump up Flash? Because
I think you have to accept that Flash is not their number one show anymore.
Yeah.
You just have to accept that. They are going to give Superman and Lois priority. and Flash is it's like I don't know if you watch sports, but it'd be like a sports team having a number 1 unit and a number 2 unit.
Yeah.
Superman and Lois is the leader of their number 1 unit. Flash is the leader of number 2 unit. You don't put your number 1 and number 2 together very often to like have a super night,
Yeah. Amethyst is the same thing. I want to rant on this for a second. Honestly, you make a good point here. So we don't talk about Star Trek really on my channel, but I watch all the Star Trek series. I love Star Trek. I've been a big fan of it for years. The Picard series is out right now. They're airing season 2, and the season has been attacked for being woke and the whole the channels that do it. They just go after it and they attack it. Anything that shows anything other than white guys gets attacked. So it's just the channels. But it was announced, I guess, last month that Picard was wrapping up their season 3 and it would be the final season. And several of the actors came out and said the show was always a 3-season show. That the writers, the creative team, they always intended it for it to go 3 seasons. Now, there are other shows that have intended to be shorter seasons, and then they go on longer because the network's like, hey, they're doing really well. We want to give them more time, right? So, but ultimately, if it's a 3-season show and they wrap up after season 3, that is the vision that the creative team had over it. Now, whether you like Picard or not, whether you like Discovery or any of these other Star Trek properties, it's irrelevant when the creative team has said we were going to do 3 seasons and then they choose to end with season 3, right? So that means the show is ending based on the fact that the creative team intended for it to end in season 3. However, I have seen the same channels coming out saying, oh, it just proves that Star Trek is crap because Paramount Plus decided to cancel Picard after season 3. Like, it's just, this is the kind of stuff, like with what Amethyst is saying here, they run with this on any shows they don't like. A show could be on season 10, all right, and then it ends, and they're like, oh, this piece of crap got canceled finally. It got 10 seasons. That's 3 times more than most TV shows get.
Yep. I mean, trust me, when The Flash finally ends, whether it's at 9 or 10 or 14, they will come up with all those reasons why it got canceled. It won't be because the contracts expired. It will be because they got them canceled. And
Thomas, this is a good point. I've been saying this for a while. Like, it was only a matter of time before their general arguments became pretty obvious on why they didn't like shows. They cannot continue to regurgitate the same insults before it reaches a point where they're like, it's just obvious why.
Yeah.
And right here, Thomas, they say don't change comic characters, but Sarah's a new character for the show and they still complain. And right, you don't have to like Sarah, but the fact is, it just goes to show that it was never about changing a character. It was never about whether a character's a male, female identifier, whether what the color of their skin is, anything like that. It was always about them being against those kinds of things. So
I think there is, okay, I'm not going to try and validate them because 80% of what they say is, lunatic bullshit. But there is certain things, like if they came out with a new Superman and Lois and he was, I don't know, disabled, brown and gay.
Wow.
Just imagine.
Their mind would explode. Their minds would explode if that happened.
But let's be brutally honest. You don't want that to be Clark Kent. If they came out with a new version of Superman, if they were like, his name is Fred Johnson and he's Superman, perfectly fine. You can get away with that, but you can't get away with Clark Kent being that.
They're still mad about a black Superman who's not Clark Kent.
Exactly.
Oh, and I'm not saying you have every right to be mad at them for that. Yeah. But if that guy's name had been Clark Kent, I could understand them being annoyed.
Well, yeah, they could be annoyed. That's honest. Like, they could be valid about that. But the thing is that I have seen them like basically be hypocrites. So whether they have a valid opinion or not, it's hard for me to be like, well, I believe them because they've proven themselves to be disingenuous. So
of course, we all know they have an agenda to sell. But at the end of the day, the other thing I'm going to say, everyone's a hypocrite. I don't care what the topic is. Everyone's a hypocrite about something.
True, but when you're a hypocrite on social issues and political issues, it becomes a big problem. Yeah, like I could be a hypocrite for being like, I don't like cheeseburgers, and then you catch me eating a cheeseburger. Like they'd be like, you're eating a cheeseburger. Nobody gives a shit about that. But if it's about something that matters to someone, then yeah, they're gonna bring it.
All I am saying is there's about a 10 to 15% of the time where I see a topic that they say and I'm like, okay, I get your point. But that other 85% of the time, like you said, they regurgitate the same facts so often that you're just kind of like, I can't take their 15% of the time. I agree with you. I can't take that seriously.
Well, the problem is I like, say for example, and people do it with my channel, with any channel, you follow people that you tend to agree with the most often, because those are the people that you're going to watch, right? You're not going to subscribe to a bunch
of echo chamber.
Right. So I go out of my way sometimes to give other people a shot and try to hear and get their point of view, because honestly, it's easy to just dismiss a bunch of stuff if you don't really listen to what they're saying. But there's some channels that I did give a shot that did have some valid criticisms that just became cesspools. And I'm like, I can't continue to subscribe to them, because the amount of rope that I gave them for me to give them a chance to do something and switch things up, they just continue to get worse and worse and worse. And I couldn't, there's no going back on that channels.
It's like, it's for me, like the first 2 or 3 times I watch them, like, okay, they have some points. But then you get to that 5th and 6th and 7th time and you're like, they've said the same points about every topic on every character there is. And you're just like, okay,
I see
you don't have you no longer have a point if you're saying the same thing about everybody,
There are people that I've seen say they're going to unsubscribe from me because of a difference of opinion, and I get it. Like it happens, right?
Oh, I'm unsubscribing right now. I don't like your opinion.
I tend to give people a lot of room. It just, when it becomes a pattern for me, that's when I'm like, I can't do it anymore.
Oh God, that's one of the worst, Pagey.
What? Oh no, I would never. And also, not just the worst. What was it? Thomas, the one that he put up there. I would not do that one either.
I missed it.
Introverted Unicorn with a $5 super chat. Do you think they will fill Jesse's time on the Flash character, or give it to Allegra and Cecile? Well, we still don't know what Cecile's going to do at this point.
Time?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he gets maybe 1 or 2 shots a episode.
Who gives the pep talks? Who's going to give the pep talks?
Hasn't Barry been giving most of the pep talks to the team now lately?
Barry's been giving reverse pep talks. He's trying to make people feel bad.
Speaking of which, what's weird? Rewatching the Flash and going from season 6 to 7.
I forgot you're torturing yourself. I forgot.
Just noticing how massive Grant got, like randomly.
He got into the Kanye's workout plan. He did that between season 6 and 7.
It's so weird watching it back to back. You're like, where'd that come from?
Yeah, he got.
I can imagine with no time lost between those seasons. You're just like, who's the new guy they got in there?
Exactly.
I am under the impression that Allegra will never ever really be like, she'll never have a suit. She'll never do anything. I don't think they're ever planning on doing that with her character.
Light Baby needs to. That's her name. That's her superpower name.
They can cut Cecile 1 or 2 episodes. Cecile.
Let's not forget that Joe's not completely gone either, though. Like he's not, but he's stepping down as a regular.
Is this a hot take? I think Cecile was better on the show when Jesse was out sick, honestly.
I agree. Because they gave her stuff that he would do, so it worked.
Because she had to carry minutes that she was no longer just there to like hold her head. Right. She had to do other things.
Barry went from talking villains down to talking the team down.
I will agree and disagree that changed. I get why they were doing it, but he started throwing them hands again.
Yeah. All right, so briefly, let's go ahead. Oh, we're already at 44. All right, this is a 5-minute warning. We're going to rush through this quickly here. We're going to skip over the news about the Voltron show. I'll talk about that at another time. Because of copyright reasons, I'm not going to play the trailer here. But the Thor Love and Thunder trailer came out. And I got some pictures here. I've got an article. We're not going to read through the article, but I'm going to look through the pictures while we chat about it. We're going to start with you, Liz. Let's talk about your thoughts on the trailer. What did you think of this trailer? Was it everything you expected? Just general thoughts.
I will say I freaked out when I seen that they finally posted it. But like this first photo right here, I loved that little montage. I can't wait to see how it actually is in the film. But seeing him grow from a boy to a man and seeing that comic accurate costume from when he was a teenager, that brought a smile to my face.
Yeah.
From what I see, I like the vibe of it. I've seen some people online talking about it's not for them, but I'm like, you got to understand where the story was. Like, you really have to understand where the story was and where the story is going, and just accept it for that. Like, everything's not going to be the way you feel it should be. So right. I'm glad, I'm happy with it.
All right, so now we're going to move. Before I give my opinion, we're going to move to Canada Graphs because I heard you got a hot take on it. So why don't you give your thoughts?
It's probably not as hot as people want it to be. So here's the thing. I'm probably going to begrudgingly still see it when it comes out, but I'm not excited. Okay. And part of that reason is plain bias. I'm not a Natalie Portman fan. I don't like her. She, I have seen her other side. And so I'm kind of sour at that. I also don't like the fact that they're basically making a new Thor while the other Thor is still active.
Right.
I would have been happier if they had been like, we're putting a 3 to 5 year window between these two characters. I would be much more accepting of them trying to come out with a female version of the same character. You need a break between the two characters. You can't just have one hand off the mantle to the other one in the movie and have that one just start doing that right away.
But I don't think that's what it is, though.
Well, that's the way they're selling it in the promo.
Not necessarily, because he honestly, he can't. You have think about it this way. That's in. The hammer is an honorary thing. Like, you have to be like, Thor just can't say, hey, you know what? Here, you take it. It's yours. You be Thor as well. That is, first of all, somebody has to re-enchant it to put it back together. It has to choose you. So Thor hasn't been on Earth for all we know. From my thinking,
it looks like he's going to be in space with the Guardians for a while.
I think that she has been Thor on Earth. I think that's where she's been at, and he doesn't know. So that initial shock in his face is like, I don't think he actually knew that was possible.
So you're saying that while he's in space, we're going to find out that she's been Thor on Earth?
I think that, yes, I think that's what's going to happen. That she's been Thor on Earth, or she's just been Thor, flying around, but primarily Earth is her like home base. And
that sounds even dumber to me.
Not necessarily, because I mean he was deemed unworthy in the comics. He hasn't used Mjolnir. How many years has it been since?
It's been a while.
It's been a while. He hasn't used Mjolnir. He hasn't thought about it. Only time he thought about it was before they did the blip to bring everybody back.
And he's had Stormbreaker since
Stormbreaker is his hammer. In the comics, she was deemed worthy even while she had cancer. You would hate that if that was actually in the film. But I get the direction that they're taking it. I just say, give it a fair chance.
Like I say, I'm still going to begrudgingly go see it because, I mean, I've liked all the other Thor movies, and technically, I guess Chris Hemsworth is still the lead of this. I just don't like what they're trying to pitch you. They're basically like, here's a product. While you're watching this product, let us tell you about the new product that we're going to replace it with. It'd be like, say there was a perfect example. Imagine there was a show like Arrow, and they decided they were going to try and make a new Green Arrow.
They did already.
That was a woman.
They did already.
And duh. So remember how we reacted to that.
But they also did the same thing with Hawkeye, and Hawkeye actually did a really good job of introducing a new Hawkeye.
You know what? Fair enough.
And again, this
fair
is
enough.
This is
one for two in this.
This is just source material. They're just and to be honest, Jane's known as the Mighty Thor. I will still call her Lady Thor because her comics did really well. Like they sold
Right.
really well. For being
Comics and movies are two different mediums, though, that don't always have the same success rate.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying I've always thought about this happening, and I trust Taika Waititi. I trust Kevin Feige.
Oh, there's great names attached to it. Great names attached to it.
Maybe Natalie Portman does a good job. All I'm saying, at least she's not going to be bald and sickly when she's not in the costume. That's all I care about.
The only thing I will say is I know I'm going into this with my bias. Like, right. I'm not a fan of her as a person, and that is probably 30 to 50% of why I'm down on this project. You know.
So imagine it's Scarlett Johansson under the suit. That's all you have to do.
Same thing. I mean, I'm not a big fan of her either.
Okay, Candace Patton.
No, that's so Jordan has a question here. This was kind of sparked a debate online about.
I saw this and I kind of vaguely saw it somewhere.
So the definition of cinematography includes visual effects. So to say that it's not cinematography is literally like saying the definition of cinematography is incorrect. Special effects, practical effects, paintings, all of that can be considered cinematography. So I saw the debate about it and I thought it was a little silly, personally. Okay, so let's pull this back up here. So now that you guys have talked about it, I actually enjoyed. So I'm one of those rare people who has enjoyed all of the Thor movies. I like the first one. I didn't mind the second one. I thought it was okay. I really love the third one. So I've really enjoyed, I've had a good time with all the Thor movies. I understand all the criticisms of all of them. I get why people don't like the first one. I get why people think the second one is really bad. I understand it. There's some issues with the storytelling, but I sometimes like bad movies and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with liking bad movies. So I'm not going to argue that the second film was a masterpiece or anything of that nature. But I think for me personally, what Taika did with the third Thor movie was completely changed the game for Thor.
Yep.
I think that he made Thor a very relatable character. And yes, Hulk got punked big time. I know there's a lot of Hulk fans that hate what happened with Hulk because of that movie. I get it. I totally get it. But from the standpoint of Thor as a character and Loki as a character, I think that movie did a lot for both of those characters. I also enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy. I think the first one is better than the second one, but I enjoyed both of them. And to me, this looks like a marriage of those two things, of the third Thor movie and the two Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Now, that's not going to be for everybody. Some people are going to hate it. Some people are going to be like, this is awful. This is why I don't like the MCU. This is why I like the Snyder movies. Like, that's what people are going to say. They're going to go down that road. But for me, I think it's fine. I'm really excited about what I saw in the trailer. Again, we're going to scroll through some of the stuff here. This montage was cool, watching Thor work out with the trucker hat, which I thought was hilarious. The new costume here, obviously, with the gold. I think is that a new costume, right? It says this new look here.
Yeah,
that's a new costume there. I thought that looked fine. Then you have the Thor here in the Thunderstrike outfit, which actually was a different Thor in the comics. I believe it was a different character altogether. It's been a long time since I read that, but for a period of time there, he was there. So there he goes right there. He's got he no longer has two different color eyes, so I'm not sure what that's about. If it's magic or
I think Rocket just gave him just upgraded the eye.
I would think an eye like that could change. You could change the color on it, right? Yeah. I mean, even little LED things we have today, so why not? This is kind of cool. This is the Gore the God Butcher. Like, look at that shot there. That's the panel from the comic book, and that's the actual visual representation of it. I mean, it's almost an identical shot for shot of the comic book panel. If with the exception of having more than one character and the words are missing from it. Now, Gore the God Butcher is a dope character from the comics, and I'm so excited to see him in this movie because I think what we're going to get from him is we're going to see that a lot of the movie is going to be funny. I think his character is going to be vicious, and I think that's the way we're going to get it. He's going to be an awful, evil character. We get New Asgard, we get King Valkyrie, which I think, Lance, and we're going to kind of dial back to what you were saying. Do you think that Natalie's Thor has been operating out of New Asgard while she's on Earth? Is that what you think is going on, or no?
Possibly. I was thinking and wondering because I'm like, would Valkyrie really be? But would she really have a say so in that?
Well, I'm wondering though if she does get the hammer, she would turn to the Asgardians to learn more about the hammer.
True, because they are doing tours, like Cody said right here. They turned the location to where Hela destroyed the hammer. It's like a tourist location.
Yeah.
Now, so yeah, I think Jane probably went there, and that's when the hammer decided you're worthy.
Mm-hmm.
So I that's a good point. I didn't think too much into that. But
yeah, that's a good point, Cody. Thank you for the super chat. Very good point there.
She probably has talked, and maybe Valkyrie was like, okay, well, if you're the new Thor, I don't need to talk to actual Thor because, well, he left. He's not here.
Yeah. So we get a look at Olympus, which I think is supposed to. So you know how Asgard was a much more stylized looking location where it didn't really look like the corny Asgard that you see from the comics and the writings. I think Olympus is supposed to be an over the top like representation of what everybody thinks Olympus is supposed to look like. Because look at it, it's like hanging gardens and floating buildings. And then we have Russell Crowe as Zeus, which by the way, it's a very brief flash of the character.
Yeah. And
but
people are already trying to compare.
I know, and I'm going to show. There's a meme I'm going to show when we're done talking about this, which I think is funny to me. But we get this brief shot of him as Zeus, and it looks like. So I believe this is going to be made to be funny. I think this is going to be a silly scene. I don't think he's going to be a super serious character, just based on the way the movies have gone. Of course, Guardians of the Galaxy in there. We get that funny scene where he's looking into Star-Lord's eyes, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. And we see the hammer with Mjolnir, and then we get to see Natalie Portman as Jane Foster, Mighty Thor, which I got super excited when I saw this. I'm like, I can't believe they put it in the trailer. Yeah, the helmet looks so good. Overall, for me, I think the teaser was a success, and I'm excited for it. But I understand all of the criticisms. I get it. It's not going to be for everybody. And there we go. So MC Brooks says, any chance that they bring Hercules into the MCU? There's been rumors about it for a couple years now. So I would not be shocked if that happens. Robert says, Shadow the Hammer, Norway, probably in Thornsburg. I'm sure it's on a shrine. Most likely. Let's see. Let's look at this picture. So this is one that I saw shared from somebody I follow, Lon Harris. He's a critic on Twitter, but this was shared from the Nerdrotic Twitter here. Snyder cut Zeus greater than Disney Marvel Zeus.
How can you compare the two just from a trailer?
Yeah. Not only that, but there was literally no dialogue from the Snyder cut Zeus. It could have been anybody. Could have been any bodybuilder in the world. It didn't matter. Yeah, and he goes on to say, Lon over here goes, wait, it's a whole meme. Do you even think this proves the Snyder cut Zeus doesn't even have a speaking role? We haven't seen Crow's Zeus from the front. Do they just love muscles? Are they scanning the screen for men with visible muscles? Because the thing is, Zeus's power is divine. He doesn't need muscles. He's not throwing those lightning bolts using his muscles. It's fucking magic. I don't mind if he's got them. Obviously, the Greeks would give him muscles with sculpting him. I'm just saying it's not a baseline requirement for me personality. And then over here, there's another one from, I guess, the same account. The amazing acting range of the one Tessa Thompson who can look both bored and indifferent. Like, and people wonder why everyone calls a majority of that group toxic. People wonder why. Unprovoked comparisons with very little information. Very little. We have no idea what the context is for the MCU.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. So I got into an argument this week with someone who got all pissy about my spoilers. And I'm just like, you were talking about seeing anywhere from 5 to 45 second piece of a 45-minute project, and you think you know everything now? Mm-hmm. It's the same with this trailer.
Yeah.
Or a still that comes out.
Yeah.
Doesn't tell you anything. Tells you a part.
I think once you see the movie If then you want to try and compare the two, that's totally valid.
100%, yes.
But not in this context at all.
Yeah.
It's just
People
typical
ask-
internet goes.
I get at people all the time. They're like, "Oh, what do you think of this this character compared to this one?" Like Batwoman gets it a lot with Gotham.
Mhm.
People are like, "What do you think of this character compared to this character?" I'm like, I can't compare them because on Gotham they got 19 episodes. On Batwoman they've been in one.
Right.
You
I
know,
get it.
ask me at the end of the series.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, so I guess we're going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for jumping on with me. I know it was kind of a last minute thing, but I wanted to see if anybody wanted to jump on and chat with me about stuff. I do appreciate it. Quickly before I go, though, moving forward, I will be doing my Moon Knight reviews as actual videos with guests each week for the remainder of the season. I think it's got like 3 episodes left. So I'll be doing that. The Weekly Geekly is going to get rebranded and reworked because of issues with scheduling. So we will do that. You know, obviously Cyber and Omega will be present when they're available, but it'll be pre-recorded. And then the Weekly Geekly podcast will be completely different. We'll be talking about weekly news topics. It'll be different. It'll be different. My thoughts on Moon Knight as a whole so far is I think we're still in the building blocks of the series. This week's episode is going to be, to me, determinant of whether or not the show is really pushing hard. That's what I think. What are you thinking, you guys? I know Cantergraphs doesn't really watch Moon Knight, but
I agree. I love what we have so far. It's basically been the same pattern with all the Disney Plus shows, though. Slow builds, and let's just hope they stick the landing.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, thanks everybody for showing up. All of our new Team Eric members and older Team Eric members, enhanced Team Eric members, thank you so much for being here. Check the community tab for the next scheduled live stream, and hopefully it'll be pretty soon. And we'll keep our eye on Ezra Miller to see what's going to happen with their drama in Hawaii. So
It'll be a Rolling Stone article in a few hours.
probably. So. All right, see everyone later. We're out.